To solve this equation using the quadratic formula, the first step we're going to take is to write it in general form, and that would be n squared minus 9n plus 20 is equal to 0. Now before we plug it into our quadratic formula, we're going to figure out the values of a, b, and c. A is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 9, and c is equal to 20. So we're going to substitute those up into our quadratic formula. So x is equal to 9 plus or minus the square root of negative 9 squared minus 4, 1 times 20, all over 2 times 1. So that's going to give us 9 plus or minus the square root of 81 minus 80 all over 2, which will give us 9 plus or minus the square root of 1, which is 1, over 2. Now we're going to take that 9 plus or minus 1 over 2 and we're going to figure out our two roots. So in this case, n is going to be equal to 9 plus 1 over 2, which was 10 over 2, which would be 5. And the second root will be n is equal to 9 minus 1 over 2, which will be 8 over 2, which will give us 4. Now before we answer, we always want to check back into our original equation. And our original equation, just to recap, was n squared is equal to 9n minus 20. So if we substitute 5, we would have 25 is equal to 9 times 5, which is 45, minus 20, which would give us 25 equal to 25. So we know that n is equal to 5 is correct. And if we substitute our 4 squared would be 16. 9 times 4 is 36 minus 20, which will give us 16 is equal to 16, and that is correct. So we can conclude that our values, not of x in this case, of n, so we'd have n is equal to 5 and n is equal to 4.